joins us tonight. But anyway, we're going to get in some good stuff. Don't you worry. Um, hmm. And of course, I am wearing one of my lovely Zaya bra tops. We'll talk about that too. Okay, so we are on. I'm going to send some notices to some people. Anyway, I hope everyone had a lovely Wednesday, a lovely hump day. And let me do something real quick. Make sure my volume's down. And, as I thought about hump day, it kind of inspired me to do some things. So, and to talk about some things. So let me see here. Oh, and you probably guess what one of the things we're going to talk about is. Hope everyone has had a lovely week. Hope everyone had a lovely weekend this past weekend. And I hope that everyone is planning on doing something big in the next coming few days. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Here, let me go over. So, and I want to wait for some people to join us before we, get some things in. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. So, again, welcome to Empowered TV with Crystal Rain. And what we're going to talk about tonight, one, Wednesday, which is hump day. And the next thing we're going to talk about is some of these big things that are coming up. And I hope people take it seriously. So, I'm my lovely Zaya, which is what you're going to see me wear because I am a Zaya Activewear independent representative. And so, you have to sport yourself. You have to promote yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm also Team Beachbody. I am a Beachbody coach. And I also have through Empowered, t-shirts on Teespring. So check out emngroupmi.com to get the links for the Teespring. And then my group is Crystal Rains Be Rockin' Zaya and Beachbody, Team Beachbody is long. But if you look up Crystal Rain Brock on Facebook, you'll find all of them. You find all my pages, even my poetry page, Considerations, Life, Poems, and Expressions, as well as, a play that I promoted and wrote page, but mainly Crystal Rain Brock, both pages, my personal page, as well as the business page with my Empowered Black t-shirt as the picture. And then you'll also come across my Crystal Rains Be Rockin' Zaya and Team Beachbody page. And then what else is on there? Oh, Considerations of Life, Poems, and Expressions. So awesome, right? So anyway, some of the things we're going to be talking about today, Hump Day, as well as um, what's coming up. Right now it's big, and as I thought about Hump Day, I couldn't help but think about, we're right at that curve that where it's time to vote for our president. Where it's time people are voting right now. Um, and just like we're at hump day right now, we're at the hump for how this election could turn out. Could you imagine if I can't imagine, that's why I have to laugh. Could you imagine if Trump makes it back into the White House, like he gets voted back in? That's not going to be a happy 4 years for some of us. For some of the others that are out there that are all like, make America great again. And I'll never forget when that slogan started. I was like, no, it's not perfect. It's not what it's not at the levels and the evolving. It does need to evolve some more, America. We know that. There's some things that were passed down to people, thoughts, mindsets that people, we just can't do anything about. And it's only up to those people to change those thoughts. And if they don't want to change them, it is what it is. But we can still promote all the things that have been great and the reasons why people have come to America in the first place. Like I said, not perfect, nowhere near perfect. No, I'm not going to even say that. And if you watch my past videos, you'll see why. And you can see my past videos on YouTube. And, anyway, that slogan, I don't even understand it, because a lot of his platform with Make America Great Again dealt with like kicking people out of the country and, bring me you're tired, you're weak, and you're poor. So I had some issues, and Pence was here in Michigan. And before we get into all that, I'm just going to say it for right now. Pence was here in Michigan. They've all been campaigning. We know Michigan is we're a swing state. We can go either way. But we are an important state. Your vote here matters. I can't stand when I hear Michiganders be like, oh, vote for what? Your vote matters. We are a deciding state. If you don't vote, and a lot of that has been pre-selected, we know, but still just go out and vote for the history of voting. Go out and vote for the history, the how voting came about, and how some of us obtained the right to vote. That is why you should vote. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it too heavy right now. I want to keep some of that. Hoping, we're waiting for some more viewers. And then we'll talk about that. Let me see here. Oh, hey, how are you? Thank you for joining us. We're going to get into some things. I'm waiting for some more people. So it is hump day. So since it's hump day, you have to say what you are looking forward to this coming weekend. Drop it in the chat. So let me talk about what we're going to talk about. So again, welcome to Empower TV with Crystal Rain. And the conversation, one, we're talking about hump day. But as you can see by that picture I have up there, we're going to also talk about something else. As I thought about hump day, I realized we were at the curve for something else too. We're at that mark where it's that time. And at first I wasn't really worried, but just listening to the numbers today of where it's like 50-50 here and 50-50 there, I know that Biden and Kamala are very confident, but I am not so confident by the numbers and by how and who has come out and how many has come out to support the current president, to support Trump and Pence. Yeah, I don't know. And it's worrisome. And I hope the young people get out and vote. That's why we're doing this show tonight. I was going to try to create it a little different, but no, we need to talk about this tonight. And if you have comments here, let me fix this so I can see. So if you have comments, please comment. I don't need to know if you're Republican or Democrat. It's all about right, wrong. It's about exercising your rights at this point. It's about accomplishing something at this point. It's about um, how do we, as citizens of the United States, want to be represented? At this point, it's just like, do we want 4 more years of crazy and slightly off, or do we want 4 years of common sense? Hey, let's say 8 years of common sense. Let's just put that blessing on it. But it's hump day. And let me not forget, we have our cocktail of the evening. I did something a little different. So we've been making simple cocktails that you could stir and not shake. So this one was one of my favorites. I like, Sprite and 7 Up. And this isn't Sprite or 7 Up. We're in Michigan. I went to a store that's like Michigan stuff only. So he had Faygo Twist, basically, Faygo 7 Up. And of course, it has a lemony flavor. And there's what? Bacardi Limon. I used to order this, when I went out. Bacardi Limon and Sprite. I like Bacardi Limon, Sprite, or 7 Up the best. This is still really good too. And you add a little, as you can see, a little lemon in there. So Bacardi Limon and some Sprite, 7 Up, or hey, Faygo Twist if that's what you choose, or Faygo. That's good. It's really good. Yummy. Okay, so that's our cocktail for our late night happy hour. Our cocktail of the evening is Bacardi Limon and Sprite. Squeeze a little drop of lemon in there, squeeze a little drop of lime in there, however you want to do it. Do it. So it is Wednesday. It is hump day. Hump day. This is the day that people either get really sad about because it's not the weekend yet. It's like, damn, it's only Wednesday. Or they're like, shit, it's Wednesday. We got Thursday. And then we're coming up on Friday, right? We're excited. You want to, you're looking forward to the weekend for a reason. Now, the people who are sad and mad are the ones, hey, sweetie, how are you? Now, usually the ones that get mad are the ones that ain't got nothing going on. Let's be real. So I want to look up the reason why we call it hump day. And I said, because it can't be just simple because it's the middle day of the week. It can't be that simple. But yeah, that was it. Hump day is simply hump day. And I think other people, they put their own little spin on what hump day is supposed to be. No. Hump day is just, it's the middle of the week, and that Wednesday is considered like a bump that you get over to get to Thursday and Friday. Why? I still really didn't find any definitive reasons why, but when we stream again on another Wednesday, I'm going to keep researching that matter. So some talking points that I want to hit on tonight. I want to hit on, one, get out and vote. So vote 2020. And the reasons why. We're going to talk about Pence's speech in Flint. He left some stuff out. And we're going to talk about how successful, strong black women are portrayed, attacked, talked about, depicted in the media, and how people view them. I know because I know for having some strong opinions and some strong thoughts and maybe being a little smart sometimes. You're not viewed sometimes in a good light. Like a lot of people view Oprah in a good light, but they view Oprah in a good light because of who she is and how she made it. She is business savvy, but she's still like everyone wants to call her Auntie Oprah, but she doesn't want to be called Auntie Oprah anymore. She still built herself up, but she had a way about her, a little bit of a different way. I was to then say, if you compare Oprah to Omarosa, you get two very different, distinct personalities. But Oprah being Oprah didn't stop people from discriminating against her. And when I say discriminating against her, it's like when she was in Europe and she walked into the store, wanted to look at a purse, the lady told her no and told Oprah that she couldn't afford it. Oprah said, oh, I don't like how Oprah justified it, though. I know she didn't want to make it a big deal. She didn't want people hounding her. She didn't want to get into the race. She already knew when you're used to systematic racism or just racism, period, you don't need to get into a whole lot. You don't need to get into a whole lot of conversations. You don't need to get into a whole lot of explanations. It happens. We know it happens. We tend to move on from it. I'm not going to say it hurts less, but she was just like, I didn't look like myself that day. But to me, I don't care if Oprah has on no makeup, her hair pulled back, she going to look like Oprah. I'm going to recognize Oprah. I don't know if that lady was living in a bubble who told her, no, you can't afford something. But that's the thought. And that's how, it's those thoughts right there. That's what I kind of want to talk about tonight. um, what's going on, and how Kamala's been depicted in the media, and how um, just how we are looked at, you know, and it's not always in a nice light. So that's our talk for tonight. Okay, we're gonna wait till we have some more people chime in on it. We're gonna get to this drink. If you have a drink, salute. If you have a cocktail, state what cocktail you're drinking. I might promote some other poets tonight while we're waiting to get these things started. So let's look up some things. Let's see here. Let's get to a little Maya Angelou. Let's look up, see if I can find a Maya Angelou. Let's get into a little bit of that. Let's read that one. And then we're going to get more into our topics when we have some more people join us. And prepare for the Halloween special. Um, yeah, so this Saturday, we're going to most likely stream for over 2 hours. And so prepare for the Halloween special. There will be music. That's what I don't have going is my music. I don't think Alexa is plugged up. So I am going to excuse myself and I am going to put on my little friend behind me. And entertain you for a few moments. Yeah, let's see here. Make sure he's visible. And then I am going to get turn on the music. Hey Alexa, play my music. Okay, so that had to be a little entertaining for you guys. So I went and got that squared away. I think it's ready. One moment. So we got a little music going on in the background. Oh, I hope everyone has had a fabulous week. Okay, that's good. I have to get my music on a little bit. So you guys just hear in the background for background purposes only. Uh, for a little hype, for a little energy for myself to keep going. Oh well. Okay. So let me bring that back. So equality, Maya Angelou. You declare you see me dimly through a glass which will not shine. Though I stand before you boldly, trim in rank and making time, you do own to hear me faintly, as a whisper out of range, while my drums beat out the message and the rhythms never change. Equality, and I will be free. Equality, and I will be free. You announce my ways are wanton, that I fly from man to man. But if I'm just a shadow to you, could you ever understand? We have lived a painful history. We know the shameful past. But I keep on marching forward, and you keep on coming last. Equality, and I will be free. Equality, and I will be free. Take the blinders from your vision, take the padding from your ears, and confess you've heard me crying, and admit you've seen my tears. Hear the tempo so compelling, hear the blood throb through my veins. Yes, my drums are beating nightly, and the drums never change. Equality, and I will be free. Equality, and I will be free. So that's a poem by Maya Angelou. Um, Equality, and I'll be free. So we're going to read a few more of hers this evening. So hump day. Yes, hump day is simply what it is as described. The middle day of the week. I thought there would be more to it. We'll do that one too. Okay. So, um, I may have to rethink the time that I stream. I think most people are like this time, they're like ready to go to bed, depending. Mm. So we're just having a good time tonight. I'm just listening to this song right now. Sorry. So let's start with Pence. Let's start with Pence uh, and Flint. And we're going to listen to some of that. And then we're going to get back into this. Now, Pence and Flint. Um, yeah, okay. Um, I'm confused by this question that one of my neighbors just put in our forum. Okay, anyway, I think it's a little weird. No, just ask people to move their car. And anyway, um, so Pence was in Flint, and he was saying how I guess like he's the only one that's come to Flint or something like that. And I don't necessarily think that's true. So Pence was there. I'm looking for here his "Make America Great Again" remarks. And I have the sound turned down for right now, and then I'm gonna pause it. So I don't remember once hearing in the speech that he um I don't think he ever referenced how Flint in that they're still in, water crisis. For those of you who don't know, the water was purposefully um, poisoned, high levels of lead and everything. And the people there are greatly affected then and still now. And I know there's a plant that he announced that's opening up there and creating jobs. And Flint was one of those places that had an industry leave, and it just it became what it became. And I'm not saying and there's nothing wrong with Flint. Period. Um, it just went through those changes, those economic changes. And one of the, I don't remember which one said it, but one of the politicians at the time, we really, they should have been charged, but they weren't charged with purposefully, poisoning people. Um, One of the politicians was like, well, we're not sure if the people of Flint are the type of people we want to get behind. And that comment alone, I was just like, wow. Um, so what, you want to purposefully poison them? I mean, come on. No, that's crazy. That's nuts. Who would want to do that? Insane. Um, so, so Pence and Flint, and not mentioning anything about the water crisis, crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. So I'm gonna play because I want to listen to it. 1 second. We're gonna do this. So that's cool. So we're going to get into some of this a little bit and listen. And there's, of course, the comments. The comments are the funniest. So I'm so sick of you trolls talking about Biden didn't do anything for 47 years. Well, evidently he done something right. He's still in there. Michigan for Trump, Pence, 2020, keep America great. That slogan again, making America great, keeping America great. The president from the day he took office has been spreading hate. That I see and believe. Yeah, he has been. And a lot of what he said, another guy says, can't stomach this BS when it comes to Pence. And it's hard to listen to. I'm not sure if anybody watched his Make America Great Again speech delivered in Flint, a place that I don't even think he really truly referenced properly or acknowledged again the water crisis that happened and still happening there. I think people are, it's insane. But again, with those slogans and with those comments and with those statements, I can't say that um, Biden and Kamala are definitely in there because they do have their supporters. So we're going to listen to this a little bit and then we're going to comment. Okay, we're going to listen to this song first before getting into this. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, I got to be mellow before listening to that again. Let's see what's going on here. You keep me on my feet happily. Oh, 1 second. Co-write me. Mm. La, 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 la. Mm. You're different and special. All of you out there, you're different and you're special. I love you. Ooh. Mhm. So we're gonna also make some things on the Halloween special. So be prepared for that. We're gonna make some dips. We're gonna make some drinks. Um, it's gonna be a fun time. So do not forget to join me for the Halloween special. I have to put that on there that that's a Halloween special. And of course, it's gonna be in the evening. Yep, it's going to be in the evening. Um, but I'll probably come on during the day for like an hour to talk about it and then we're just gonna do it, and then we're gonna maybe put on some Just Dance videos. I'll set up. We'll be moving around uh, from the kitchen to the living room to the living room because we're gonna dance. We're gonna dance, everybody. The Halloween special is gonna be awesome. Tune in for the Halloween special, okay? And right now, my videos are going on YouTube until uh, that little upload feature unlocks for me. That's what it looks like for Twitch. I'll look at it again. Oh, okay. So that's good right there. So let's listen to. We're gonna start with Pence's speech. Okay. I don't want to go back that far. So he comes out of this plane like some rock star to some you know. Let's hear what he has to say. And it is um, it was streamed on Facebook, so you can find it if you want to really hear it in its entirety and everything. I'm just going to do some commentary on it. No to 4 more years. I don't know. I know there's others that feel the same way as me. No to 4 more years. No, no. Wow. Michigan is Trump country. I think not. We don't, not all of us want that name. So you cannot say that we are Trump country. No, thank you, Vice President Pence. Wow. A lifelong Democrat who's a leader in Flint, and he's supporting Trump for 4 more years. That is gut wrenchingly painful. Painful. Maury. And he said the economy was is struggling. No, we had awesome times under uh, Barack Obama. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but we didn't have this. We didn't have a lot of hate coming out. And listening to him, he's acting like it's been like this glorious time. I mean, the mishandling of COVID, the mishandling of so many things. Oh my goodness, who believed that we couldn't be stronger and couldn't be prosperous? Oh my goodness, he is really laying it on. Say no to 4 more years, Michigan. Say no. Just say no. I mean, it's boy, they know they really be using like if they were ever in service or their kids are in service, they know they just use that and use that just like our John James here. He throws that, oh, how he was in service, how he's a veteran. Now it takes a little bit more than that, I would hope to think. I mean, seriously. And more armed and more law enforcement, more this, more that. A lot of the things that we just don't need. Nobody wants more of that. People want more equality. People want more positivity. People don't want the hate. People want to be able to jog down their street and not be bothered. When President Trump came into office, he brought some mess with him that just infected and spread and allowed others who felt the same way to be extremely bold. I want to just make sure I'm going to listen to this again because how did that start? Wow. Now these things all of a sudden we find out about what he's talking about, like all these little activist work and charity work. We usually only find out during the times of elections. Wow. I don't think he ever mentioned. I think somebody just made a comment about it. Did he ever mention? I'm gonna put this in here. Did he ever mention the water crisis? I don't believe so. I know somebody has said it, and I want to see it. Yeah, I don't know if he ever mentioned that. So it was just craziness to me. There's a lot of things he was saying. The rhetoric of "Make America Great Again." When was it? Supposedly not great. Many people came here for many reasons. So let's talk about the importance of voting. The importance of voting is mess like this. That you have somebody that wants to highlight only a few things, and then they go and they talk about, to me, nothing. I mean, he didn't bring up the fact that Flint had a water crisis, what could be done, how he could be helpful. He talked about some other things, but not enough to make me go, okay, yes, I'm going to definitely switch from Democratic to Republican because I know what that means. It means that usually for people like me, we're not going to win. Um, we could win. I'm not saying we can't. We definitely can. Yes, we can. See, I prefer that slogan versus "Make America Great Again" because it implies that um, we weren't great or that we weren't uh, something awesome. Like I said, no, it's no way I'm thinking that it's perfect because we have a long way to go. I mean, I look at us going into other people's backyards and trying to clean up their backyard without having our backyard clean. I mean, how is that possible? I mean, it's like, seriously. How are you going to go into someone else's backyard, try to fix it, try to clean it when your backyard is still a hot mess? And I look at, the things that came out of it and the deaths that came out of it and what happened during his administration. It's angering. I get angry. And I try not to be angry. I don't want to be angry. I want to be positive and do my mindfulness exercises and teach others how to do these things and how to calm and relax themselves. And and then you hear something like this where they don't mention it. If you don't mention it, he mentioned the few, but that's what they tend to highlight just a few versus loving everyone in its entirety and acknowledging everyone in its entirety. This is really good. Yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying Hump Day. I can't wait for the weekend because I'm going to do something fun. So I'm not one of those weekend haters. I'm enjoying Hump Day today because we're over the hump to Thursday, and after Thursday is Friday. Yay! I'm excited, and don't forget I am a Zaya Activewear rep. If you like my top that I'm wearing, if you want to know more, you can hit me up on social media, direct message me. My numbers, of course, is they are attached to my Facebook page. So follow, subscribe, make comments. Perfect. So let's get into. So we talked about that. Talked about how you went up there. Didn't mention the water crisis. Going on about Trump this, Trump that, and I'm just like Trump can get sunk. That's the only thing I could think of. I just want to be done with it. And I want to have to say I love this picture right here. I love this picture of Kamala and Biden because they look like they're about to get somebody the ass whooping that their mother should have gave them. They look like they are about to go in on someone so hard that they are going to melt them. Okay? Now this comes to our portion where of voting and how it came about, and many people don't realize that black women received the vote last, or gained the right to vote last. So first white men, of course, had the right to vote because they were white men. They were entitled to everything. It didn't matter. Then you would think it was the white woman who then gained the right to vote. No, it was actually the black man. So they pushed for that and different agendas, to move other movements forward. So let's just talk about that, just like the history of voting. And when I hear black people say, "Oh, my vote doesn't mean anything," no, your vote means someone's life. Because to vote sometimes may have meant you losing your life, especially back in the day before we had the right to vote. Nothing was ever given. A lot of people like to look at things as though they were given. No, nothing was ever given. It was always earned, always worked for and earned. If you look at some African Americans' work ethic, or how some African Americans um, are, you look at the history and what's been passed on and why, you have the realization of what took place. You know what I'm saying? So first, the white man had the right to vote. Then the black man got the right to vote. Then white women, even though we helped with the movements, we helped with the movements, we were the last to get the vote. So women out there, go and support and vote, because you represent a woman who may have died for your life. So just to have the right to vote. People don't realize how systematic or systemic racism goes deep. Because if I was to Google, let me see here. So let's look up when. Oh, let me fix that. Let me see here. So I'm Googling when black women won the right to vote. I want to look at years, and I'm doing this for a reason. Because there were others that were living here as well, and you don't really hear anything about that or hear anything about um their like past, how it was for them. So it says women like Fannie Lou Hamer, Ella Baker, and Diane Nash continued to fight for voting rights for all, culminating in the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So when did black women get the right to vote? It's a struggle they will wage alone. So it's a struggle they will wage alone. How black women won the right to vote. So, oh, and this is a lovely portrait of an African American educator and writer. That's awesome. So, but it says the 19th Amendment, ratified a century ago on August 18, 1920, is often held for granting American women the right to vote. And yet, most black women would wait nearly 5 decades more to actually exercise that right. So, 5 decades. Decades, 10 years. So, 30, 40, 50, 60. Oh, that can't be right. We didn't. We didn't get the right to vote in the 70s. That can't be right. Let me see here. So, but oh wow. And now reading this, like the organizations that wage. So this is oh wow. So not only did we not get the right to vote at that time after helping the white women get the right to vote, because we're going, if they get it, then we're going to get it. You know how that goes. So it says, in the case of the 19th Amendment, even as it's ratified in August of 1920, all Americans are aware that many African American women will remain disenfranchised. The 19th Amendment did not eliminate the state laws that operated to keep black Americans from the polls via poll taxes and literacy tests. So then, in order to vote, well, you had to take a test. You had to read something. And for some, especially if they were farmers or depending on it, they had limited resources and, very little education. Nor did the 19th Amendment address violence or lynching. Some African American women will vote with the 19th Amendment. Some are already voting in California, New York, and Illinois, where state governments have authorized women's votes. But many black women face the beginning of a new movement for voting rights in the summer of 1920, and its struggle they will wage alone, because now the organizations that had led the movement for women's suffrage are disbanding. So not only did we not get the right to vote with everybody else, we fought on our own. And I'm not saying there probably weren't some men that stood beside us, but the organizations who did all these things, once they had the right to vote, they disbanded, which left us what, alone. And that's funny. That brings me to the next the topic. You know, people are all right with black women being alone, because I guess we're supposed to be the strong entity. People are all right with black women being alone, and to me, they shouldn't be. Um, and the black man should definitely be about protecting the black women. I think all people should be about protecting and lifting others up. But again, when you look at the narrative that's been played, or the narrative that's been spoken for us, I think some need to be allowed a little extra grace. I think some need to be allowed a little extra love. Um, you can't, you can't, it's easy to say some things, but they're hard to do. They're hard to live by. Some things that people find very easy to say. So, like, if I was to look up a quote about Kamala, because again, it's how we are viewed. We're used to taking on so much. We're used to taking on so much stress. We're used to bearing the burden that no one cares about our burdens. No one cares. Um, I hate to say it, but I don't believe people care about African American women's feelings. I really don't. And I'll use a quote. Hi, how are you? Thank you for following, love. Thank you. And I'll use a quote. I don't believe many care about African American women's feelings, because um, just certain things. Like, I think some of these numbers have changed. I haven't looked up the latest numbers, but usually we're the least likely to marry. Usually, um, especially in the past, I like to see that things have changed. I see more black women in relationships. I see more black women getting married younger. Why that movement? I think a lot of it is economics. People watching maybe single women struggle and not wanting to be a struggling single woman. They're going, no, I'm going to find me someone that's, and some women make that their goal. For me, that was never my goal. I grew up with what? A single mother who worked and took care of us, and I didn't want for anything. I'm not saying we didn't have hard times, but It's what it is. If you're voting, I want you to drop voting in the chat because that's one of the things we're talking about. I just played a little bit of Pence's speech that he did in Flint, of all places, in his Make America Great Again in Flint. I'm in Michigan. Wow. He didn't mention the water crisis once, at least from the part that I saw, because it was streamed on Facebook. It wasn't a very long speech, but he didn't mention the water crisis once. And I'm just like, how do you go to Flint and not say you're going to try to do something, try to help? There's still a crisis. And, unfortunately, it's faded to the background, as many other things do. But let's get back to this, how black women are viewed. I've talked about this before. We're either viewed as these extreme Mother Teresa's or, the other extreme, like, Cardi B, Megan Stallion type, only about one thing. But I feel that we deserve some grace sometimes. I don't like the fact that people don't think that we deserve love, that we're able to, oh, but you're good single. You get those comments. Oh, you're strong. You're brave. And it's just like it's a bunch of bullshit. I hate to say that. Hopefully I can say that on. It's a bunch of bullshit. We have the right to be vulnerable. I there's been times where I've been crying or something or been upset, and it seems like, certain counterparts, let's say the white counterpart, has been like it didn't matter. Like my feelings did not matter. Like their feelings mattered more than mine. I can look back at circumstances and see that. And I know why, and I have to accept the term. Even though I don't believe in the term, I have to accept the term. And I'm not going to say it. Most people know what it is. But you say boo to someone that doesn't look like me and they cry, then they get all the sympathy in the world. And I think that needs to change. I think black women's, like the way we are viewed needs to change. So let's say Kamala, for instance. So she's a very strong black woman. But she's married. She's has she has a family. She fits a different bracket to me. But she's a strong black woman. She speaks her mind. She doesn't back down. And then she's depicted as a monster. To call her a monster, do you know what that means? Oops. To call her a monster. I mean, of all the things you could say about someone, why would you call this strong, beautiful black woman a monster? Why? Why would you do that? I mean, I don't know. When I heard it, it was just like, why would you say that? Why would you call her a monster? Because she doesn't look like a monster. She doesn't sound like a monster. She says some wonderful things. And I also have to take it another step back if I was to go back to Michelle Obama. That seems to be the most meekest, mildest woman I have ever seen. She reminds me of Jackie O. You know what I'm saying? She just had that demeanor, that demure. When you look at her background, it was like she was just born and bred to be a president's wife. I mean, when I heard someone had a comment about letting her child watch the documentary Becoming, is there anything in it? And I was like, well, what would be shocking or tabloid worthy of Michelle Obama? I just couldn't think. It's just the words, like what that person said, like risky behavior. And it's like, what, because she's from the south side of Chicago? What would be in it that would have you worried? Because that woman, I don't even know, that woman twerks. She probably, maybe for Barack. But, and someone I know, she probably took offense, but I think she realized how it came out afterwards. And you can't get angry for how you sound. You can't get angry at me for how you sound. And I just go, well, what is it? The word I want to say. What would be controversial of her? Because from the movie I saw that depicts their relationship, from her background, from everything, what? And if someone tries to make something, oh, well, there was like where she had a miscarriage. People have a miscarriage. Your kids see that on TV and see women pregnant and unpregnant. Big woo. That's all you can say? Well, there was a miscarriage. I said, but the book's not about that. The book's about becoming your best self. So what would be controversial about it? Why would you think there would be some controversy in there? You think she out there smoking weed? No, none of that's in there. There's not one person on this earth that's come out to say anything really negative about her. There's a way the media portrayed her or tried to portray her and to get her to show a bitchy side. Because you know how we are. You know how we are. No, we're not always like that. Um, and we have the right to get angry or upset and question things. I was like, don't ask a question because I just asked a question like, what would there be, you know, and I think other people felt it because other black women chimed in. I was like, oh, don't worry, girl, you all good. We know what you meant because it sounded off. Like, what would be controversial about Michelle Obama? And when other people chimed in, like when it was like, oh, girl, don't worry, we know what you really meant. They had the thought too, right? So then she was like, oh, well, maybe it did sound a certain way. It did because what? She's black and from the south side of Chicago. You got to look at the year where she lived in the south side of Chicago, and it was actually more of like a suburb type area she lived in. But still from working parents, working background that provided and pushed their kids to achieve great things, to achieve greatness, to not limit themselves. And why would you not want your kids to see or watch that when you really look at this person? And then you talking about a miscarriage. Your kids see pregnant women all day long. You don't think they know how them babies got there? Get real. You know what she meant. We know. I know. Especially with them getting defensive. And I love that when they get defensive. You know? It's like, get real. So let's see some things that they said about Kamala. Let's see here. Quotes about Kamala. Quotes. I like to do everything in real time if you can't tell. I do. I was up here fixing and playing around with this because I was like the only one listening or watching um, some time ago. It was just like yesterday because I'm streaming every day. So I was the only one listening and watching. Um, watching, like listening, just doing my broadcast. So I decided to play around with Streamlabs and add some things and do some things. And so we're going to be talking about this voting for the next couple of days. We're going to talk about it all the way up to the election, except for Halloween, because that is the Halloween special, and I'm going to dress up. I don't know quite what I'm wearing. I'm going to get my face done. I don't know if I'm just going to put these like little fake tattoos on my face, or if I'm going to go get it painted by a makeup artist. But it's going to be over an hour. We're going to do some dancing. So I'm going to I'm going to have you guys on my tablet. So we're going to be walking around the house. So we'll be in the kitchen making guacamole and doing some fabulous things and mixing our drinks. And we'll probably even do that in the living room. And then we're going to go to the living room and I'm going to put on YouTube and find some just dances and we're going to dance. It's going to be a party. So we're doing a virtual Halloween party. So join me. I want everyone to join me for that. I'm going to promote that more. So it's going to be fun. We're going to get into some spooky poetry, maybe some spooky stories. Maybe you'll watch a movie with me, and which is the big for me, watching a scary movie, y'all. It's got to be the right one. I don't know if I can do it. I stay away from scary movies. But let's see some things that they've, when I say quotes, I don't want quotes by her, quotes of leadership. I want things that people have said about her. And then, let me see here, quotes. Foreign policy, heavy debate between Kamala Harris and Pence. No. So let's see this. Let's see controversial statements. Let's go controversial. Statements about Kamala. And then maybe you'll see what I mean. It was like when the cop had arrested, well, I guess she had an accident or he pulled her over and something was expired. And so, I don't know if I'll be able to, let me see here. I guess I have to go bad statements against her. It's hard to find some things. Bad statements against Kamala. So anyway, the cop pulled over this young lady. How sexist, racist attacks. Here, that's what we want. Let's see if we can find any of those. So the cop pulled over this young lady, African American young lady, and something was expired, or I'm not sure if it was her license, but either way, she couldn't drive the vehicle. It was gonna have to get towed. So she gets out, she walks. I get not sure if he offered her a ride home. I guess she just said she wasn't far and she just walked. Maybe she didn't trust to get into the car with the officer. Maybe he had an attitude. I don't know. But she just said, no, I'll walk. And he goes, well, there goes that black girl magic. Really? And we know what the term black girl magic means. It was to raise and uplift young black ladies because, again, comments that are made. For instance, like in my daughter's school, some comments were made about pretty bad about one of her friends. They left the school and they talked about her hair, they talked about her skin color, they talked about her being dirty, they talked about, and she came to school looking great. That was really a problem because she came to school with her hair done every day. She came to school with good clothes, nothing cheap. Um, Mother was buying JoJo Bows up the wazoo at that point. So I kind of have a feeling it was some other things like, what are you doing wearing that? What are you doing? And I remember growing up with some of that. Um, I remember being a teenage young girl having grown women look at me with hate. And, I look at it like, why? Um, I was just this happy, positive person who loved to volunteer and loved to do well and try my best. And for some people, they felt like that's not your place. You need to stay in your place. So when you see characters like Amarosa and Kamala kind of not doing the norm, it's like, well, they should just mind their place. And I had those comments when, I first started volunteering at my daughter's schools and things. It's like, well, why don't you just do what the rest of them do? Well, what are the rest of them doing? Who's the them? And now everyone's very conscious of these statements, kind of, sorta. There's some slips since George Floyd and say their names and Black Lives Matter, and some of us has been Black Lives Matter before the organization came together. We just couldn't get anybody to listen. Even when Black Lives Matter, nobody was really listening. The slogan was out there, and it got some steam, and then it died down because people really weren't listening. It was this moment, that defining moment of George Floyd, watching him being executed live. And I remember watching because I was thinking I was one of the first ones, at least in Michigan, and I remember sharing it. To me, I was one of the first ones who shared it because I didn't see anybody else share it, and I was livid. I was like, "Get off!" I was there screaming at my phone, "Get off his neck! What are you doing?" He was, it was what it was. When other officers, who aren't bad officers like that watching, I was like, "Okay, dude, what you doing? Get him up! Get him up! Get him up!" And when you hear cops say things like, well, no, that is a restrictive airway move. You put them down like that to kind of subdue them a little bit just to get the cuffs on him, but then you lift them up immediately because, no, the airways are restricted and they can't breathe. To hear cops actually admit that is a big thing, to say, no, you can't breathe in that position. And I don't know why a cop would say that. But now everyone's conscious of these things. Everyone's Black Lives Matter. Even some people that um, even some people that I've seen and that I've been around, I'm like, you never promoted, you didn't even listen to people's ideas as part of this organization. But now we're all for the ideas. Why? But we're still looking down at some. We're still looking down at black women. Because if we have to come up with a slogan like protect black women, because people don't feel that we need protection, people don't feel that we need vulnerability, that we need grace. People feel that we're these hard, bad mothers. Oh, I'm the worst and the hardest. My kids are like so crazy. They look at me like they do take me seriously when I say it's time to go to bed. But there's these thoughts of us, and I think only people that can change these thoughts, and of course, it's going to be us changing the narrative, even though we didn't start the narrative. The narrative was started by media. Let's portray black women as only crack addicted mothers. If you look back at TV shows, what did you see? We were always poor. It was like a slave show. We were always single. Only way we had something is if we had a man, and then the most sought after man for us was the white man. It's like, really look at the shows. If you look back at those old shows, especially the 80s when I grew up, you rarely had, like, I loved Oprah on television. I was like, wow, she was on the few brown, just herself, not that stereotype out there. I mean, It's amazing. So let's get into this about Kamala. So it says, let me see if I can find, besides the monster quotes. Oh, I didn't even see this one. Yo, this article is in the Washington Post. So one of this, she calls it one of the pernicious line of attack on Harris is as old as misogyny itself. It claims that a woman who has served as San Francisco District Attorney, California Attorney General, and U.S. Senator slept her way to those into those positions. Now, I really haven't heard that a lot in the media, but I guess they write about it because maybe that's the word on the street. I kind of remember hearing some of those things maybe a year or so ago, and it's like, why? She is an attractive woman, but why can't she just be smart and work hard? Why did she have to sleep her way up to the top? And let me tell you, working in a male field, uh, and I got along great with my supervisor. I'm no longer at this place, but because we got along great, and because I guess I was one of his favorite employees because I did my job, not anything else. The rumors start. Oh, why does he want to promote her versus somebody else? And it's real. It's like, why can't we just exist? Why? I mean, as women, as black women, why can't we just be smart, intelligent, good at what we do, and get a promotion and be happy? Like where I'm currently at. I get trained on a lot of different things, because I show that I'm capable. I can handle the work. I have experience. I'm a capable person. And of course, you like she right. No, I think they're just being nice. He's being friendly. I can't view it that way because you can't always view every situation that way. It's like, why? Because someone's being nice, they gotta like you. Really? I can't just be nice. Now you got to go around being mean to people. That's what someone else told me about another person. Oh, you can't be too nice to him because then he'll think that he likes you. Really? We can't be nice to each other, people? Man, we in a sad state of reality if we can't be nice to each other. we Without people thinking something else. I don't know what to think. It's like what other rumors have they possibly started? Like why Biden chose Kamala? People need to quit. So let me see here. In the first week after Harris was named to the ticket, the sexualized hashtag heal what? Heels up Harris? Hashtag heels up. What? I didn't even see this. People are crazy. Hashtag heels up Harris. Wow. That is crazy. Willie launched her career because she was having sex with him. The idea that she is an independent woman who worked her way up the political ladder because she worked hard is baloney. She slept her way into powerful jobs. Steve Baldwin, former California State Assembly member. Steve Baldwin has some balls to actually say that and say it publicly. And of course it's false. Yeah, so I'm surprised. I would have sued him if I was her for slander. In the cocktail of the evening, Bacardi Limon in a Sprite-like mixer. Put a little lemon in there. The ice melts. It still tastes pretty good too. Wow. So anyway, she won anyway. And what Baldwin wrote did undergo some different things. Okay. So that's one of them. That if we're winning, if we're at the top, then of course we slept our way there. But that's where I think many women, not just, African American women. And of course the different debates. But my main one is that when he called her a monster, we're usually depicted as that. We're monsters, bitches, hard mothers. Like we just don't care. We're what wretched savages. People don't, people want to come after me because of what I stated about Megan Stallion's performance at a couple of past SNLs. And I stand by what I said. I'm sorry. To me, when she got to that point and she said what she said, and there was this beautiful imagery with the hands up, or fist up is what they had. They had fist up. and everything was matching. They were fists up, heads down. She said her deal: protect black women. And then she put her head down too. I thought it was like over. I was like, wow, that was so powerful. And then immediately after that, without missing a beat, went right back into Savage, twerking and humping the floor, saying she's a wretched savage. And to me, the imagery was just off. That's me. I know I'm a different person. I'm a different mindset. And some people are like, well, she just took the moment to make the stand. And when you take a stand, you take a stand. I'm just like, yeah, but did you have to go back into saying you're a wretched savage? I'm sorry, but Ebonics don't trump Webster. The words still mean what they mean. And it's funny that you will see these words and you think you're taking back power when people just say, well, they say it about themselves. It's just like the same thing when black men, I'm not sure if some women decided this too, when there was a movement of taking back the word nigger and making it nigga, different things. And to me, it was like, no, it's still the same word. Because I was educated at home and I couldn't see that word as being friendly or anything because I knew the meaning of the word. An ignorant person void of intelligence. And that's why they called, because they weren't educating them. They were only using them for chattel. So to me, that word was never going to be good. It was never going to be powerful. You can't change it. You can only just get people to stop using it. And what did some people say? White people and others said, well, they call themselves that, so why can't I call them? So if you're going to call yourself a wretched savage or say that there's more to you, well, you call yourself that, so why can't I call you that? You're a savage. You're an animal. And that people don't understand that. And I know it's a song, and I'm not getting into all that, but people use these things as examples. And it's like, what can you do besides change the narrative? And when I say change the narrative, don't just try to take a word and change the meaning. Like, literally change the narrative. And that's what Beyonce is done. She's been trying to change that or flip the script, but I can't really compare her to like Megan Thee Stallion. Someone tried to have her say, well, what about Beyonce? She da 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 da. And I was like, I can't really put her in the same category because she's been trying to change the script for a long time. Like when she tried to wear her real hair, and they were like, no go. They wanted that image of what they feel beauty is, not what you feel beauty is. And I loved her Black is King because it was what she feels is beautiful. It's what her thoughts actually are. And, and I think for me, the reason why I liked it so well is because she did what she wanted to do versus listening to the masses and then not come out and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I'll change. No, there's no change in it. She wanted to uplift. She wanted to be a part of this movement that's going on and speak her mind in an artful way. And then some people, even Black, were mad about it, talking about like I said, we just can't win. When we do good, when we do bad, we are so heavily policed. And I wasn't trying to police Megan Thee Stallion. I was just like, I just wanted it to end with the fist in the ear and the heads down and then have her come out and do another song. And I know the whole point was, and it brings up my point of, okay, we're not bringing you here to make a political statement. We're here to watch you wiggle that big old ass. You know what we're inviting you to do? You're Megan Thee Stallion. Nothing more than that. We're not inviting you to make a political statement. So, no, you're not going to be given time for it. And they say it was a complete surprise, but I'm like, well, they had the graphics and everything right at the perfect point. Maybe they throw the graphics up and that was her moment to take that, it was probably all part of her track. So I see that. But it just brings me back to my very point. That's not what you're here for. And I said, no one took that. To me, it wasn't taken seriously. And they tried, and everyone who chimed in on my page was like, oh, it's talked about as being this, that, or the other. I said, really, I haven't heard anything on the radio. I haven't heard, and I do listen to Sirius Radio a lot. I haven't seen any major interviews on the news. I think people are just trying to give her some props because I didn't see anything. I Change.org, passed it out and tried to, kind of really use that moment to comment as well. But it was what it was, and it was when it was, and it was how it was. And it contradicted itself because they don't show the full. They don't show what happens after the statement, when she just goes back to twerking on the floor talking about she's a wretched savage. So, like I said, I'm not dissing it or downing it. I just would have preferred for it to end with fists in the air, protect Black women. It was a really strong image. And it was a great message that didn't need to be lessened. And to me, that's what happened. It got lessened. And some people may watch it and see something totally different. Because I know everyone's about the twerking, and I'm the only one that's like about, just trying to really, change that narrative to where it's our words and not images. Like when rap first started, it wasn't like what it is today. It was more conscious. The young men, young women, they wanted to know what was going on in their neighborhoods because no one was coming to help them. No one cared about them. Why? Because they were black and poor. If you watch, oh geez, was it Public Enemy? I'm gonna say no. Oh geez, I don't want to mess it up. But if you watch the movie, I want to say what's Public Enemy, the movie based on them a little bit. There was some stuff I know left out, and they weren't completely accurate. But I have to look it up. Let me look it up real quick because I don't want to get it wrong. But I enjoyed the movie; it was good. But those young men were coming out. They weren't trying to rep gangster life forever. You know what I'm saying? And they don't now. Yeah, it is. It was the Public Enemy movie. Oh, this is something different. No. What is this? Here, I want movie based. Let me see here. Straight Outta Compton, excuse me. Because there was something else that had something else. So Straight Outta Compton. I know I had to think of the movie. It was a good movie. And I loved it. The young men who played them, they did a good job. That was awesome. Maybe we, do a watch and commentary on that. And then my child's father at the time, he didn't like it because there was some stuff left out of what some these young men had did on tours. Again, there were young men that came into money at a very young age, and unfortunately, one was heavily affected because it's Eazy-E. He died of AIDS based on his activities. What was going on back then and how people were living. But either way, they wanted you to know what was going on in their hood. They wanted you to know that we are being killed, we are being hunted by the police, we are being exterminated. That's what they were talking. That's what they were rapping about. Same thing with Tupac when he came out. Tupac, he was buying into that image at first, and then he flipped the script and was like, and he has some amazing lyrics. If you listen, most people were just bobbing their head to the beat. But I'll never forget being in my brother's car, and he was rapping, and I was like, "You're not listening to what he's saying. He wants you to fight against those images. Wants you to fight against the gangs. Wants you to peace." When there's a good beat, sometimes people don't get the message. I said, you're not listening to what he's saying. He's saying the exact opposite. So there are those who listen, and there are those who, bob their heads to the beat. So we didn't create that image fully. That was created for us. Those young men, that was just kind of like everyday dress for them. That wasn't like, a fashion statement. That was what they wore what they could afford, and if they did whatever they had to do to make money. And then it blew up like gangster rap, and it wasn't really supposed to be like gangster rap like that, but we have it now, and and people love it, and I'm not gonna diss it, but it didn't start out that way. Again, it was, and then of course with the Sugar Hill Gangs and stuff like that, and really good music versus what we have now, images that were created that are still being portrayed and not really created by us, but it kind of has, because everyone puts their own spin on something, and it's this is how I am, and this is what I do, or this is what we do, and I can't stand that. Like when I hear Katy Perry, this is how we do. And it's funny because when you look at the video, you're not really sure what she's commenting on. Some other people think that she's commenting on black people and what black people do, but she's also in the video, so it's a little hard, because I did watch the video and was kind of like, all right, Katie, that's cool, I think. But it is that those thoughts, that's how they are. Women in power are bees. Women in power slept their way to the top. Women in power, especially black women, they're not going to do well. We don't know how to plan or execute. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. So that's what it is. Let's see what else we can find really quickly before we end, and then I'm going to get into another Maya Angelou poem. So other comments. I'm just going to put other comments. Other comments about Kamala. And vote. Get out and vote. This video I'll probably share. It's going to be on my YouTube automatically, but then I'm going to share it on my Facebook. Usually I want to do that. So fact checkers, memes inaccurately portray Kamala Harris radio comments. GOP's raw personal attacks about Kamala Harris. So radical leftists or not progressive enough in the hours. Wow. Again, what I said, Trump calling her angry and horrible. So we're always angry too. Us black women are angry. No, we're not angry. We may get upset over something that's said, but no, we're not angry. So we're going to leave it at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into this poem to close this out. So let me see here. Oh, it's here. Oh, let me see. Put a love song. Love me, sing you love me. Love song. So we're going to end with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bare bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of the things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. And I think that's what many people are I think that's what many people are wanting today. And it's sad because I look at my Mother's Day, I look at when I grew up, and it's still the same way for my daughter. And it's like, it shouldn't be. We are still fighting for equality and freedom. And people, when I heard things that people had said, like, oh, how they saw how he died, George Floyd died, it humanized black people. Excuse me? Am I not a human when I go into your store and spend my money? Am I not a human when I help you or leave the door open for you? Am I not a human? So it's funny because that poem, the poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. Yeah, I understand that bird. Like many other people, brown or black, we understand that bird. We understand why that bird sings, why that bird will not stop singing, because, well, that's the only freedom he has is his voice. So I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Peace, love, many blessings, and go out and vote. Vote 2020. You know who I'm voting for because I have their pictures up. So anyway, vote 2020. Peace, love, many blessings. Thank you for joining me. And do not forget, Halloween special coming up on Saturday. It's going to be over an hour. We're going to dress up. We're going to dance. We're going to make some food so you have your own snacks. I'm going to have my snacks. And we're going to have a good time.